You ever notice how some people talk about money like it's the root of all evil? Meanwhile, others act like if you're not bathing in dollar bills every morning, you're failing at life. Yeah, welcome to the great inner debate of balancing material success with spiritual growth. For the longest time, I thought you had to choose. On one hand, be a Zen monk with a vow of poverty, or on the other hand, a Wall Street shark with a Rolex and an existential crisis. But the more I reflected on this, the more I realized maybe that's just a false choice. Maybe you can actually have both. And that is exactly what we're diving into today. But first, hi, welcome to the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast, where personal growth meets deep thought and introspection. I am your host, Dylan Andres, and in this episode, we are exploring my personal journey through the journal prompt, Balancing Material and Spiritual Needs. How do you balance your desire for material success with your need for spiritual growth? And are they in conflict? Let's start with a confession. I used to believe that being truly spiritual meant living with next to nothing, barefoot, meditating on a rock somewhere, probably with a pet goat. And trust me, I didn't even want a goat. I'd like to have many goats, but they got to be the kind that faint. But not just one, I got to have many. This belief wasn't entirely random. It was shaped by the way I witnessed how spirituality was often portrayed. The truly enlightened people, I thought, had transcended the need for money, possessions, or material comfort. And if that was true, then where did that leave me? I wanted success. I wanted nice things. But I also wanted inner peace. The internal struggle and brain noise around this was real. Things started to shift when I began working with my personal development mentor, Kareen. She challenged a lot of my assumptions. She showed me that you don't have to choose between material success and spiritual growth. They can actually complement each other. She, along with a few others in recent years, also introduced me to the key idea: money is a tool. That's it. It's not inherently good or bad. It's simply a magnifier. If you're a kind, generous person, more money will allow you to be even more kind and more generous. If you're a selfish jerk, well, then you're just going to be a wealthier, selfish jerk. Around the same time, I started noticing something interesting. The people who I followed online, who talked about spirituality, many of them struggled financially. And these are people with tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. Meanwhile, my friends in real life who were deeply spiritual, their success was growing every year. That was a massive wake-up call. Clearly, something wasn't adding up between what I saw on social media and what was being witnessed in my real life. Just a quick sidebar here as well. This is also why I push often how important it is to always be mindful of the content we consume. Just because we witness information supporting a belief we currently are holding on to, it does not make it the truth. Okay, back to regular scheduled programming. So, I started redefining what success actually meant to me. When I was younger, I thought success meant a high-rise apartment in New York City, designer clothes, more money than I knew what to do with, the nice sports car, the watch that makes you walk crooked because it's so big. Today, success looks completely different. It's about having a home that feels peaceful, a car that I enjoy driving, quality food, a few solid friendships, and the ability to travel when I want to without the constant, can I afford this anxiety? And don't get me wrong, Money is still a part of that picture, but it's no longer about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about freedom. It's about using money to create the life I want, not chase it for the sake of validation. One of the biggest misconceptions in spiritual communities that I have witnessed anyways, is that money is bad, that it corrupts us, or it distracts us from enlightenment. Well, here's my take. Money itself, I don't think is the issue. It's how we relate to it. If we see money as a means to control or dominate, well, clearly, yeah, that is a problem. No kidding. But if we see it as a tool for impact, for growth, for solving problems, and helping others, well, then that's a pretty incredible asset if you ask me. I genuinely believe that we're meant to live abundantly. All of us. Not in a hoard all of the cash kind of way, but in a way that allows us to thrive and lift others up in the process. Okay, so how do we actually balance material and spiritual needs in daily life? Here's what I do. I use the want versus need check. When I'm considering a purchase or a financial decision, I ask, is this a want or is this a need? There's nothing wrong with either, but I need to be clear on what it is. Then I shift to the rule, which we've talked about before. Is this a fuck yes? If something isn't a full body fuck yes, then it's a no. I don't need it right now. And rationalizing means I don't actually want it. I just think I should want it. I also do daily journaling. I make journaling a non-negotiable. Some days I do self-reflection. Other days I focus on gratitude. Some days I also do both. Either way, it keeps me grounded in who I am and what I am working towards. And the last thing I do, which I briefly mentioned, influence checkups. I'm mindful of the content I consume. If I constantly expose myself to scarcity-driven messaging, it seeps into my mindset and it makes me feel scarce and that I don't have enough. So I choose to follow people who embody both abundance and integrity. If you're looking for external insights to help with this balance, here are 4 major influences that helped shift my perspective. First one is David Bayer. His teachings on mindset, business, and spirituality reshaped the way I approach success. He really helped me see how mindset can influence both our material and spiritual growth. The second gentleman, Neville Goddard. Neville's work on the power of imagination and belief is a game changer. His teachings on creating our reality through thought and feeling had a profound impact on how I manifest success in all areas of my life. And the third gentleman, Alan Watts. Alan's philosophy on the intersection of Eastern spirituality and Western thought opened my eyes to a more harmonious approach to life. His work on the non-duality and the nature of reality has been incredibly freeing in my journey to balance material success with spiritual fulfillment. And last but not least, and of course there's still so many more than these were just the 4 that came to mind first, Dr. Joe Dispenza. The science behind energy, abundance, and rewiring limiting beliefs. His work on how our thoughts and emotions shape our reality helped me understand the deep connection between mind and material success, and how we can transform our lives by changing our energy. Each of these mentors helped me see that money and spirituality don't have to be at odds. In fact, when approached with the right mindset, they can actually fuel each other and build off of each other. So, after all this reflection, here's where I've landed. Spirituality and material success aren't enemies. They're dance partners. The key is understanding what success means to you. Not what society says it should mean, not what your past self thought it meant, but what genuinely aligns with your values today. For your thoughts this week, how do you balance material success with spiritual growth? Are they in conflict for you? Or have you found harmony between the two already? As always, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast. If it resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need it. Your stamp of approval is the best way to get this message out there. And if you're ready to take a step further into your own self-exploration journey, grab my free ebook, 30 Days to Know Yourself. The link will be in the show notes, along with all of the rest of the links to the rest of my socials and resources. Until next time, remember, balance isn't about choosing between worlds. It's about mastering the art of thriving in both. Money might not buy happiness, but it sure makes the ride to enlightenment a hell of a lot smoother.